another live stream here. I'm joined by my good friends Anna and Fuljens. This is actually the first time we're finally hanging out. We were just saying, so really excited to have you guys here. How are you guys doing?
We're doing awesome. Thank you so much for having us on. We are celebrating the day after Thanksgiving, so that's how much we like Rob. You know, you guys.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I know we were kind of tossing times around and stuff, so I appreciate that we landed here. But yeah, really excited to have you guys both here. You guys are, you guys are live streaming experts. You guys do a bunch of remote producing. I saw you guys at in People of Video with our friend Dan Courier. Just like you guys are running the show over there. So you guys, so awesome. So before we jump in, I want to learn some live streaming tips from you guys. Stick a minute or two and just introduce yourselves to the audience watching on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and everywhere.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Yes.
My name is Anna Hill, and I am a headshot photographer and also, as Rob mentioned, a remote video producer and co-host with Mr. over here.
Yes, and I'm Fuljens Henry with all of the above, media technician, remote production.
Media technician?
Yes.
Yes.
It is true.
I love it. And you guys are where? You guys are in New York, right?
Yes. Central New York.
You guys are in New York. Awesome. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I really, you guys are doing live streaming. So what are the things that you guys do for for entrepreneurs, for brands out there?
Yes, of course. For entrepreneurs and brands, we help them organize their content and visually push it out beautifully the way they want to. So for example, they tell us what their brand looks like, the colors, and we work from there, as well as their copy, all of that. We just bring their vision into graphics. So yes.
Right. And then also if they need help with the actual visual itself, that's what we come in with, either, using the gear that we have, or if they want to take it to the next level and have their home studio or have a studio offsite, then we'll help them with the entire build out from start to finish.
Yes. And if they have Ecamm Live, we help them with their graphics. We teach them how they can use, design in app with all of the tools that Ecamm Live has for them. So that's the channel that you guys are watching right now, the building blocks. That's what we do there.
Amazing. Speaking of Ecamm Live, you guys go check out Ecamm. Ecamm's got a dope 40% off today.
I mean, that's a good discount.
That's a real good discount.
Yeah.
Full price is a good deal, so this is good. So yeah, I put a link somewhere on the chat here, so you guys go find it if you guys haven't got set up with Ecamm yet. Fantastic community, right? Like we're all in the community, and Katie and Doc Rock, so you guys are definitely in good hands. They'll take you through everything there. So fantastic. Well, let's talk about live streaming. So how did you guys even get into live streaming? What is because I think you guys were already in media in some form or fashion, but how did you guys sort of become this dynamic duo for live streaming and helping other brands and entrepreneurs do this thing?
You take
it. Somebody take it.
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
So for me, the journey came it's actually during COVID, right? Because during COVID, I'm here. I go from being a nonprofit manager, full time, to now figuring out how to pivot during COVID, the peak of the pandemic, and bring all of our health and social services virtually, right? So now that meant that, thankfully we're able to get funded to do so, but now it's I'm bringing all of my staff, my frontline staff, on camera, and they're going from, just being the day-to-day, celebrities that they are in the community, to now bringing that energy on camera and trying to reach people virtually, right? So I built a lot of skill through that. And just fast forward to December of last year, right, which was Vlogmas. And Vlogmas kind of it's just pushed me, although I had no means, because I'm if I was to be in front of the camera, what the heck do I do in front of the camera? But I was just getting the FOMO. Week one, I got instant FOMO for Vlogmas. And I just, December 8th, 2020, I went in the camera for myself, in front of the camera. And, I'm just sharing in the Ecamm Live community how to integrate text overlays with existing overlays that you create inside a Keynote, right? So let's say you built the template in Keynote, you can actually lay text over it and and tricks of the trade. And who is on the stream the first time I go live, Rob?
Yeah.
This lady here, she's watching the stream. She's watching the stream, but under officially unofficial. So like there's no face to the name, right? So but she said, oh yeah, I'm a student of Bradley Vincent as well, because Bradley's what, who taught us how to do the keynote overlay thing and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, 2 days later in the Let's Get Live VIP group, Lem dropped.
Yep. Yeah.
To
what's up, Lem?
Officially unofficial's live stream. And then that's when I saw Anna for the first time. And it's just like instant connection from there. And come January, it was kind of like, not by like mistake, but it was kind of just something, a discovery that we discovered together on how to create text overlays in eCams, like the whole thing. You don't got to use Keynote, you don't have to do anything. And it was just like, we're just mind blown. We're like, we have to share this information right here, right now. We went live like minutes later and share that with the community in Let's Get Live group. The next day we shared it in the eCam Live community. Katie was there. Katie was like, oh my God, what's going on? and that was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. That's how we got started with live streaming. But that's how you got started with live streaming. For me, and through officially unofficial, and actually through photography, I used to just go live stream or pre-record content. But when I could live stream, when Facebook first came out with it, right? So 2015 was a huge year for anyone who wanted to go live.
Yep.
And I was already pre-recording content. So I was like, okay, let me continue and do live streaming and for here. And I found that through live streaming, I got a lot of customers engaged and I booked more business. So I'm like, that's a great return right away that I could see. And so I continued it. But when the pandemic happened, that's when it truly just went in, because that's all we had, go truly 100% live streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's crazy. Actually, first of all, I didn't realize you guys just connected last year. That's crazy. So you guys, that's like everything that you said. That's the only thing that's like standing out. I thought you guys have been like, I thought you guys have been working together for years, man. Okay. So yeah, so that's good. Yeah, this last couple of years have been crazy. Fuljens, I didn't realize that you were just helping, like your team. Just get on, I didn't even realize you started last year. That's crazy. Like that's so mind blowing right now. I thought you guys have been doing this for so long because you guys are so good. So, no, this is great. So, okay. So like really quickly then let's get into like, how do you get more viewers? Because this is a common question that comes up for even like in my channel. My channel's not all about live streaming, but obviously we do some live streaming here. So people are like, how do you get more viewers? What do I do when there's no viewers? When you're just starting out. So what are a couple things that you guys have shared with your audience, with your, with the people that you're working with, to start growing their channel? Like we're just talking basics here.
Yeah. So for basics, start growing your channel is start with your friends and family. Right. And produce good content, though, because sometimes friends and family, at least for me, I see something from my friends and family. And if I don't resonate with that content, or I don't think the content is good, I'm not going to share it. Yeah. So it's like, make sure that your content is good, share it with your friends and family, let your friends and family know what your goals are. And then just, go from there. If that's basic, at least that's how I started. That's how you started to, sharing in your private. And then from there on, if you do a live stream and you have no viewers, your content is good. If you know your content is good, continue with it. Don't even worry about it. And just continue with it. And you will get viewers, right? You will get viewers. And then if your show is about interaction or interviewing people, just make sure that the people that you get to interview have a good following so that then it can be spreading that way.
Right. Because it doesn't matter if, like, let's say you have 1 or 2 people joining you, just stay consistent, right? So that's the next one, is to be consistent, because like, those 1 or 2 people, like they're your core audience, right? And they know to come find you. You'll be there consistently every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's not for everyone, right? So it's like understanding, you being consistent is going to bring those same 1 people over again, but that'll eventually grow into 3 or 4, and they'll let others know and let it grow organically, right? And just not having like to set your expectations. Like, I'm live streaming, I have all the tech, I have all the gear. Where are the numbers, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it has to be planned. It has to be planned. You have to know content, the time of the day, because that influences a lot how, whether you're going to get the viewers that you are wanting, right? You're trying to attract. So that time of the day, check out your analytics. If sit on the replay, if you're getting more people on the replay, is that what time is the replay at that they're watching? Maybe that might be a better time for the stream to be on. So a lot of things to consider that are not necessarily, oh my gosh, my content is not good, or I need to change my camera or my lens, because maybe that will attract more people. And I will say those are one of the last things I will say, in my opinion.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good advice. Yeah, actually never thought of that. When do people watch your replays? That's actually a really good metric to look at, because we're all just looking at like, when should you go live? But then also the next thing is like, when are people watching the replays? That's probably more a good indication, a good number to look at. There is a really good question here, and I'm actually really curious about this as well. I don't know if you guys are working much with gamers, but there's a lot of gamers. Obviously, Twitch is the place for gamers. But there's also a lot of Twitch users that are also checking out YouTube, Facebook gaming. It's also big. I know that obviously, Ecamm works for all of these platforms. What do you guys suggest in terms of, with gaming content, gaming streams? Any thoughts around that?
For me, like I haven't streamed gaming live either. And I know about Twitch, and when I was producing virtual fitness classes and just having just the flashiness of it, I thought it would translate well on over to Twitch. But in terms of gaming, I'm right there with Aniket. Definitely try YouTube, right? Because I'm sure Rob, there are a lot of gamers on YouTube. I don't know how are they doing on YouTube versus how they're doing on Twitch. That I don't know.
Right. Yeah, Aniket, it's a tricky thing. I think Twitch is where you go live, and then YouTube is where you put your clips, and then you send it back to Twitch. That's what I'm seeing anyway. But yeah. So give that a try. And let me know if you have any other questions there. We see Vaughn here. Vaughn Sanders. Good morning, sir. Paul Andres here. I saw Sammy Superstars in the house as well. Sammy was in New York with you guys, right?
Yes,
and people have video.
Yes.
Yes.
I saw him, man.
Yeah.
I saw him. I was like,
and so one thing I wanted to go back to Aniket's question is, my son is a streamer, and he streams on Twitch, but he does repurpose his content, and he adds it onto YouTube. Like, he edits it, right? The highlights of it, and he adds it to YouTube, and he also adds it to Instagram, and he gets more viewers that way. Back to his stream, to his Twitch channel.
The Twitch channel. Awesome. Okay, got it. Perfect. Okay, so again, getting more viewers now. You guys, if you guys, anybody you make sure to go watch Anna and Fuljens show. You guys have a very produced show, graphically amazing. Somebody starting out may not have all the skills that you guys have. So what's the advice there? You guys mentioned Bradley. Bradley's helping a lot of streamers out there, make their stuff look really good. What are some resources? What are some things that they can do? Is it a huge factor, do you think, versus some other factors when you're streaming for success? What are your thoughts there?
Related to visuals?
Visuals. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say visuals are a great add-on. Especially for call to action, to have lower thirds for the names. Overdoing it might happen, right? So I will say stay simple. I like the simplicity of how, for example, we use Ecamm Live to create our overlays. However, you can use Keynote if you have another program, and then just import it there and just make it simple. I do think visuals help live streams, but it's not
the core.
Yeah, because I have been guests to other broadcasts of shows, and they don't even have lower thirds of the names and stuff, and they're really popular shows. So I would say, right.
And it's if you as the content creator, are not able to establish and maintain the connection with your audience, first and foremost, then your graphics they're not going to help that. Right. Because how long can you retain your audience with just graphics?
Right. And then we have heard, some people go very pretty graphics, but what else is there? Right. So it's if you have both, is great, right? So because when I first started, I just simply just have my name inside of Ecamm. That's it. And then I tried with Keynote, and I will keep it simple as well. And I got customers that way wanting to do what I was doing.
Right.
And so it's you just have to get started.
They're coming for you and your content, not your graphics.
Right. Yeah.
Right. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So don't get too held up on that. That's actually good. I'm going to refer to you guys and say, these guys said it, not me. It's not as important. Not important. It's really all about the content and showing up and being consistent. That's awesome. So Vaughn says, I just started trying to learn Ecamm. Love the graphics you guys make, but not sure I'm creative enough to make my own. So yeah, exactly. That's kind of exactly the messages that I get once in a while. Like, hey, you know, I'd love to make it look nice, but I just don't have that's those skills. I mean, there's tools out there, right? There's like Canva and like, you know, easel.
Yeah, and also I'm pretty sure Vaughn has visited our YouTube channel, like, and we had the Ecamm Design Challenge going on throughout the month of November, and just if they look at anything, there's a playlist on it where it has Ecamm Design Challenge days 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can learn all the basics you need from that challenge right there. And just the feedback that we continue to get, right, and the submissions for the design challenge has been mind-blowing. People just like Vaughn, every single time. I'm not a designer, I didn't know anything about this, but thanks to what I know I can do now inside of Ecamm, I don't have to go to Canva, I don't have to go to Keynote. I could just build everything inside in-app. Like it's been changing lives.
Yeah. And Vaughn, really, I'm telling you, I'm not a designer either. Okay. I'm not a designer. I used to scrapbook in my olden days, but I'm not a designer. Right. And what you have to do is just get a screenshot of a layout that you like. You, Vaughn, and anyone watching, right? Get a screenshot of the design that you like. Then you get that screenshot, bring it into Ecamm and start playing around with it, because it's very easy. I mean, like once you have the bones of it, which will be the screenshot, to just trace over and start that way to get your juices flowing, because you'll be surprised at what happens to your creativity once you start.
Right. And it's another way you can think about it is like, just think about how many graphics that you see on TV are just made out of boxes. Right. Just like this lower third that's coming in here, right? So you have a white rectangle, the green rectangle, the square, right? So you could easily put those things together. Building blocks.
That's it.
So Vaughn, we want to see your design.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, Vaughn. Come on.
You can do this, Vaun.
That's great. I love the challenge idea. This is awesome. I actually just never seen this before, so this is great. So yeah, I just shared the link to the playlist. Will you guys be doing these things like sort of regularly, like the challenges?
We're working on that now, because that one challenge was for 3.9 and all the great features all the great updates to the text overlays. So there are a couple more things coming up, and then we will take it from there.
Sure.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, we're getting some good questions here. So we're going to go through the questions. If you guys are just joining, I'm here with Anna and Fuljens. We're talking about live streaming tips. So if you guys have any questions around live streaming, visually, strategy, anything like that, monetizing live streams, all that stuff, drop them in the chat, and I'm going to go through here and just pick out some more questions. Got Michelle here as well. Hello, Michelle. Content is king, she said, so that's good. Perfect. Okay, so there was a really good question here. Okay, so Split Rock, if you're doing a demonstration on a live stream, do you like to have a co-host or a chat wrangler? Like, I've never heard that term. That's a good name. To help you maintain contact with your audience. So I guess sort of similar to like kind of like what a remote producer would do almost, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of one of the tasks, but yeah, do you guys, that's preferred, but yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, having a co-host usually helps a lot, because for example, when I'm delivering some content to, whether it is Building Blocks or ENN, and Fuljens is there. Fuljens is usually doing the rest of the stuff. So until I get, we get caught up, and then we get into, we get in sync with everything. So it's demonstration for demonstration purposes, I will say it will be better to have a co-host, right? Because I'm interacting with the audience while he's trying to do the other stuff. And then when he's trying to deliver, I do the co-production behind,
Yeah, for sure.
So, or a chat wrangler, that's so cool.
Right.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So you can have it.
And especially like when you have something with like high engagement, because like there are shows and streams that are doing well, but like, this is more like eyes are fixated on the screen and just like there's like nothing going on in the chat room, but they're just tuning in to like a good conversation. Whereas like something like an ENN, for example, like it really pays well to have like a good co-host and doing what Anna just mentioned, because like the chat is just blowing up, right? So it's like, and you don't want to miss anything. So yeah.
So for us, we have for our I want to say workflow, no, our technique, maybe technique is it's Fuljens and I, and then we have moderators,
right?
So we are actually to keep the audience engaged, and they start having conversations in the chat, which is fun.
But moderators definitely help in that situation as well, especially if you want to share links and making sure people receive the message that we're sharing with them. The moderators come in handy, and we have a good moderating team.
Nice
for sure.
Yeah. That's actually a really good tip to get moderators. Any advice on bringing on moderators? How does that work? What's the structure for moderators for you guys? Because I know like other channels, like I know Nick Nimmin and all those guys, they have moderators as well. TubeBuddy has moderators. What's your setup?
Yeah, you have to trust your moderators. You have to trust them really well.
And if anything, a good who would make a good moderator are like people who really consistently come to your stream. And and they're engaging with others in the chat room, and you see that they're helpful with sharing links. It's like they'll just identify themselves as a moderator, right? So the decision making process shouldn't be too hard, right? So people you trust the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty
trust is there.
Pretty straightforward. Cool. Like that. Graham Hay has a question here from Facebook. Are there layouts or templates for graphics that somebody can use as a guide to make their own graphics that line up with the built-in notifications? So,
okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Built-in notifications, like, give us an example of one.
Yeah, Graham. Give us an example of one. I think maybe what Graham may be saying is like, I know on some, like on YouTube, there is like right now on here on YouTube, let's see, what does YouTube look like? So on YouTube, there's, the stuff at the bottom. There's like your watermark. Is that what you mean, Graham? Like just to make sure that you're not blocking or covering those. Like when people go out, the notifications don't really come up as much. So I wouldn't actually worry, other than the little like watermark here,
right?
On YouTube. But maybe there's something else that Graham had in mind. So if
it's like that, once you take the screenshot, because this is what I do, and we also do that. So we take a screenshot of the YouTube template where the play button is, where the scroller is, where everything, right? So that is not a safe zone. So if you have information there or graphics there, they're going to be covered when you're watching the play. Every time you recall the play or want to pause it, it's going to interfere. So that's usually what we do.
Got it.
Is that what he meant?
Yeah, Graham. Yeah, just if you just want to clarify or just kind of expand on that question a bit, I think we get that just there. But let us know if that is it. There's somebody asking here. Actually, Neil Urban Van Life says the mod team on Nick's channel, so Nick Nimmin's channel, is solid. They do a great job. I see quite a few of you guys, kind of hanging out. So that's great. There's a question about mods being paid. There's a real question here. So are mods paid? I'll let you guys chime in, but like in general, sometimes they get, sort of like perks. I don't know if mods necessarily are paid. Most of the time there's an exchange. There's like, you get access to the membership for free or something like that. But I'm not sure necessarily if it's like a monetary thing, but how about you guys? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think you said it best, Rob, like their perks. The mods will get good perks. Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah, because we have the two shows. We have the official Building Blocks and ENN, and then those are different mods. So the mods for officially unofficial, sometimes if it is on a we hire by quarter, for example, because we work with a university, we can work out a deal where they do get paid, but that's on a, on a project basis, I guess.
Project basis.
Yeah, because for me, officially unofficial, I don't have a product to give him perks to. It's just it's my show. So then I will have to compensate them another way. And that's usually I either pay them or we work something out with sponsorships outside of officially unofficial.
Love that. Yeah. Good point. So Neil Urban Van Life says, for me, to be a mod of a channel is sort of a rite of passage. Shows you're appreciated. I mod for a lot. Nick, D, Daryl, Roberto, all the YouTube guys there. So there you go. So that's one example. So now guys, like if you do, depending on your show, I like what you said, Fuljens. Sometimes the show doesn't need a moderator because it's not like people are engaged, but they're not chatting because they're like tuned in to the screen and they're like, enjoying it. So, there's a lot of entertainment channels that are like that, comedians and stuff like that. They're doing like shows. It's not like there's not necessarily that much chat happening, but for shows like yours, there is. So depends on your show.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, so moderation duties can't be exchanged as well. You watch my chat and I'll watch during your show. Oh, yeah, that's one way.
Yeah.
That's one way. Yeah. So that's one way to do it. See, Robert Kennedy III is here as well. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Want to talk a little bit about monetization, the business side of things, with the clients that you guys have, there's usually a product or service, but like for an entrepreneur, what are some ways that you guys are seeing people monetize their live streams?
You're asking such good questions. Well, for at least for what I have seen is Buy Me a Coffee is a really good one to have your services posted there, right? It's really good. It's really easy. The transaction and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Other ways that I've seen them monetize their content is by creating courses, by creating, how to set up a studio, how to create graphics and things like that. They monetize that, and which is something that we're learning about so many different platforms to do that. So we're gonna have more information on that. But yeah.
That's how I see them. I wouldn't I wouldn't really add anything to that because it's like before learning about other ways of monetization, we'll be like have no choice but to wait to reach 1,000 subs and a certain amount of watch hours. But we don't have to rely on that these days. So there are different creative ways to get monetized, and it also goes with experience, too. It's like in what we're learning along the process.
Yeah.
Hi, Doc.
Yeah. Hey, Doc, what's up? He heard us talking about Ecamm, and he's like, I got to show up, make sure they're not, misrepresenting anything here. So,
we're behaving.
Yeah. So,
and it's so funny that he shows up right when we're talking about content monetization, right? Because he was one of the ones who pushed us. He's like, you need to get a Buy Me a Coffee. You need to get it. And then we got it, and it was just the best thing.
Right. And we're not even like close to 50%, optimizing the Buy Me a Coffee.
Right.
So that's a big machine in of its own, right? Until like once you start using it correctly.
That's a 2022 goal we have. Actually, we already started, but in 2022, we're about to hook that up. Watch it, Doc.
That's awesome. Yeah. So there's definitely so many ways. I mean, we could have a whole show for like 4 or 5 hours talking about monetization. I'm sure there has been shows that long about it. There's another question here from Neil. What's the biggest change they've made? I think Neil's referring to you guys here. What's the biggest change you guys have made from the first time you went live to the last one that you've done? So what's the biggest improvement, tweak, that you guys have made?
Oh, wow, Neil, that's a great question. That is a great question.
Very retrospective, deep question.
Right, for real.
Right.
Yeah, because like when I started, I had someone behind the camera doing the production for me. I was always in front of the camera, and then I will edit the footage. So when I first went live, I just had a webcam that, during the pandemic, okay? Yep. I had a webcam that my son uses to stream. So I used to borrow his webcam to stream every Thursday in his microphone. So that was how I started. Okay. And then afterwards, it was a learning curve. So every time it's like, I wish I could do this. And then you go and find out that it can be done. And then again, you go, I wish I could do this. And then you find out and it can be done. And that's how I build my studio. So I have my camera already that I used to photograph and the camera that I used to use to video before, but I wasn't the one using it. So it's like, you know what? I have all the equipment I need. So I just had to sit down and go over and inspect all of that. So from the first time, it was a webcam, right? The 920. I think it was the Logitech 920 with my a Hypercast mic that my son had, which I still love. And then now I have my Nikon set up with my lens. I have graphics in it. So it's like, yeah. So it's a year. You know what? It took a year.
Right.
It took a year. It was a year.
And then the biggest change for me since the first time is sitting in front of the camera and hitting the go live button versus sitting behind the camera and hitting the go live button, right? And then something that worked for the both of us, right? There's Anna doesn't like to bring attention to this, but like there's like the ENN pilot episode, I call it, right?
Oh my God, listen, no.
I was in the background, you know, pop up here and there, but Anna was like the front line reporting and everything like that. And then like we were like, oh my God, like it was, I don't know, it was like either all types of words to describe it, cringe-worthy, awkward, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But we were like, let's go back live in the Ecamm Live community together with the layout.
Yeah, because I was telling him like, I was like,
never again.
Right? I'm like, Fuljens, you need to be in front of the camera. You cannot be behind the camera and letting me report all of this. Like, there's a lot of content, and there were no breaks. Like, we didn't plan.
Yeah.
So, no breaks.
So ever since then, you know, the biggest change we made is like we became co-hosts.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a huge change. That's a good change. No, okay, that makes that's a good answer. That's a good answer. I was like, where is this gonna land? Like, where is this gonna land eventually? So that's a big change. Yeah. So now you guys are both in front of the camera. But how are you guys running everything? Is there like one person that runs everything, and then like does Fuljens run the show like on his side, and then Anna, you're like hands off, you're just still talking to the guy, or how does that work? You guys are both?
You know, we make it so good, like we're both doing it and like, you don't really realize
yeah, we both do it because we set up the stream deck together. We the content is already there. So we start with the content first. And then after that, we like, okay, here are the graphics that are going to go and the scenes that are going to go with it. And then we go, okay, here's the music and all of that. So then we both know. So sometimes if something happens where Fuljens has to be somewhere else, like for example, during the stream, I can handle it, and then he can handle it as well. So we do it together.
Yeah.
Like,
and then we signal each other, like we'll do like a nudge or a tap. Like, Point. So it's like,
and I'm like, but you guys can see it, right? Like I'm touching, you guys can see it. We master that too.
Right.
Oh, that's so funny. Like Fuljens' shins are all bruised up, you know, he's like getting knocked so much. Oh, it's so funny. That's so funny. All right, let's see here. There's some other good questions here. We'll take a few more questions. And I know it's Friday, it's long weekend. I mean, for you guys, I'm up here in Canada, so it's just a Friday. It's just a Friday up here. So it's all good. Okay, here, Vaughn Sanders this is a good question. Any tips for thinking about the live stream replay? Some people leave it, others trim it, chop it down, repurpose it. I mean, there's a million different ways to deal with replays, but what's your guys' playbook on it?
I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, well, from experience, like the live stream replay, definitely leave it as is. In the case of like what we've been producing on for Ian and Building Blocks, we leave everything as is because like a lot of our work goes into putting those, like for instance, the countdown, right? So, you know, we have a specific design we want to share for that countdown. We're not going to go back and trim it. And also in regards to a live stream replay, right? Thankfully, if you have a replay on something like Facebook, for instance, or in LinkedIn Live, you can actually go back and interact with, you know, those people who left comments. So that's really a good strategy to use. And YouTube, they'll go back and like leave comments, just like general comments. You can go back and interact with those as well. So that's a practice that we definitely like to use.
For sure. And then that's for ENN and building blocks. So for officially unofficial, when we have the shows, there's so much specific content, because when I bring the segments unofficially unofficial, I know I will be repurposing that specific segment. So I ask the question with that purpose to the guest, and then I'll have that segment clean to for the replay. So I do trim that part of it, but then I repost it again. And then for the waiting screen, I do trim it. I trim the first, because it usually lasts for 3 minutes. So I trim it all the way to 1.5 minutes, because I do create a really awesome waiting screens that the people like. So I just trimmed that one, half.
Nice. There we go. Yeah, there you go. So Vaughn, there's a couple ways to do it. There's other ways to do it. So it just really depends and also depends on the platform, right? Like YouTube is very specific. LinkedIn, like Fuljens said, you can go back and do things. Facebook, a little bit different. So all really, and then if you start talking about like taking clips and then putting it on Reels and TikTok, I mean, it's like a full-time job. It literally is for like, so it's a very big question. So definitely a lot of testing there. There is another good question here. Sorry guys, I am trying to find it. Here. So Genesis is saying, so if a sub or if anybody wants to sponsor a live stream, how does pricing work? You guys don't have to give out pricing, obviously, no numbers, but like, how do you think through pricing or sponsorship proposals for different brands for your show? Or your content
Yeah, for officially unofficial, it is based on content, and it's based on how they want the information to be. Do they want it to be in the waiting screen? Do they want them to be during the show, in the middle of the show? So there are different pricing structures depending on where they want their sponsorship information to be dropped.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, and for how long?
And for how long? Yeah. But so it goes. We go 15, 30, and then 15, 20, 30 seconds within, and then after that, it's just throughout the show.
Throughout the show. There you go. Great question, Genesis. That's if I could suggest, go check out Owen Video or Roberto, Nick. Those guys, they talk about sponsorships all the time, and like they get really deep into it. I think they even give out their numbers. But yeah, just like there's lots of different formulas for crushing out a proposal for sponsorships. Doc Rock is great too. I'm sure Doc Rock has thoughts on sponsorship. So very good. Really something I've always been thinking about too, going back to the co-host thing. So what's advice for people out there that are thinking about finding a co-host or working with a co-host? Most people don't have the luxury of like obviously being in person and finding a match, in person. I see a lot of co-hosts that are like virtual, of course, right? But like, what's some advice there to think through, when you're thinking about maybe I should get a co-host?
Definitely energy, right? So that's something that that's one of the most important things for me, is like just have the energy, right? And not necessarily like energies. Not like necessarily like energy has like to match exact, right? But there are certain things that where my weaknesses are, Anna's strengths are, right? And where Anna's strengths are, or whatever, however you want to put that, right? So definitely acknowledging each other's strengths and weaknesses, right? So that really comes into the fold quite well. And our energy, like that is like I don't really know like how better to describe that, but the energy has to match. Like you could see if there are other co-hosts out there, and then you don't have to necessarily be in a relationship or be married, but like you could see the different dynamics, right? If one energy is up here and you know the other energy's down here, like, you know, there's ways you could balance it out. But like if both of you are falling flat, you know, it's like, are you guys really the right co-host? You know, like you might want to reconsider this, right? So I don't know if you want to.
No, that's true. That's true. You have to know, and just because I have had co-hosts, ladies being co-hosts on different on my different shows, and that's exactly right. You have to make sure that they're going to keep up with you, right? That the energy is about going to be the same, even though you know, like Fuljens is usually, you know, a little bit more reserved than I am, right? But he follows, like he just is up for anything though. Like it's not like he's just quiet and he's like, oh, no, he's like, oh, for anything. He's like, oh, can we do this? And I'm like, yeah, but he's over here being smooth, right?
He always
but we do, like, it's really good. It's really good. So you have to just look for those things. Can I joke around with my co-host, right? Would it be okay if I joke with him or her? And would she take it? Would she follow through and things like that?
Doc, the matchmaker.
Yeah, listen up for real. I was in love the first day I saw this handsome thing.
It's game over. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
exactly, that's him. He's just like smooth, and I'm like, can we do this? He's like, oh, is that okay? Sure.
Yeah, I can roll.
Right.
Yeah,
it's the energy, right? It's organic.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna match up, and yeah, no, that's really good. The other side, I mean, I'm curious, like for people that obviously are not in a relationship and stuff like that, like the business side of it, it's also very tricky, right? Like if that show takes off, then you know you got to make some big decisions. Like, do you go into actual formal business together and stuff like that? I mean, you know, there's some really fantastic, you know, partners out there, like Benji and Sean, right? Benji, Travis and Sean Cannell, they have a brand together, they have a channel together and stuff like that, you know, so that's a very interesting dynamic, you know, those kind of dynamics. So but yeah, that's really good. Okay, let me just see if there's any other questions, and then we're going to wrap up here. While we're doing that, guys, what is the best place to really connect with you guys after this show?
YouTube. Well, aside from my YouTube and Instagram, you can also email us directly. So we're annaandfuljens@gmail.com, right? So we have that, and we're Anna and Fuljens on Instagram and YouTube as well.
Yep.
Right.
That's it. Easy. Yeah. And then your channels are right here. So I'll put this on the chat. Go make sure you connect there. It's the best place. And then you guys have all of the links, I think, here anyway. So this is probably the one best place, yeah,
right.
to go.
Yeah, and then if they want some goodies, head on over to our Buy Me a Coffee, which is also Anna and Fuljens as well.
Yes.
There we go. Perfect.
Yes. And then of course, if you guys want to learn about, you know, relationships, if you're looking for a relationship, if you're dating right now, or if you want to go, you know, through like do your work, you know, for like traumas and do even business, you know, anything that has to do with relationships and business, just like mental health is huge. Go to Officially Unofficial TV. One of our episodes right now is mental health, and that is just beautiful. It's a great information. So if you guys want to do all of that, go to my YouTube channel or Facebook. We have amazing guests there.
Perfect. Sharing that there on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll put all the links and everything. And I think that is perfect. We will. I missed my shot in Albany, New York. Next year. We'll get it. Yeah, we'll do that. But awesome. This has been awesome, guys. This is great. I'm so happy that we finally got to connect. Won't be the last for sure. And I loved learning from you guys and following us. When is your show, by the way? So anybody that want to catch you guys live, when's the best? What are the dates? You guys, I'm sure you guys have it on a specific day and everything. So what's the best place for that?
Right. So for Ecamm Network News, ENN, you can find us on the Ecamm Live YouTube channel, right? And that is every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And there's there's a most recent one there on this that where Rob is sharing right now. So that's Ecamm Live. And then right after Ecamm Network News, you can find us on the Building Blocks YouTube channel, youtube.com/AnnaandFuljens.
Yep.
At 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't miss us too much, because then on Thursdays at 1 p.m. you can see Anna all by herself, which is just as great, or if not greater, Officially Unofficial TV on YouTube.
Perfect. Perfect.
Officially Unofficial is a really good, great show, you guys. Like really, really great show.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Okay, so there's multiple times in the week. I'll have all the links for all of that. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank
everybody
you.
on the live, Doc Rock and the crew, Neil, Split Rock, Genesis, everybody here, been awesome. And enjoy your Thanksgiving long weekend. And taking a good nap, I'm sure. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
guys.
Rob. This is great.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Doc.
See you, Doc.